This changes everything for the Cleveland Browns. This week of practice and prep is going to look a whole lot different, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of implications going in. If Shedeur is starting this Sunday, we're going to talk about what that could mean for this week. Welcome in to the Browns Report. I am your host, Joey O'Donoghue, and by now you may have seen the report. If you watched our earlier video today, you've definitely seen the report. But Mary Kay says that there is a 99.9% chance that Shedeur Sanders will make his first NFL start versus the Raiders this Sunday, and Bailey Zappi will be the backup. First thing I want to do here is let's just get in the comments section. Spam 12. Spam number 12. Let's wish him good luck. Browns fans, we've been searching for a quarterback for so long. If there's any chance that he's worth the hype, get in that comment section and spam 12. It's going to be electric. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs. And like I said, a lot of major implications for the Browns this week. Spam 12 in the comment section. Okay, the first big change that this is going to mean for Cleveland is there's a narrative going around that a lot of people are furious about, right? The fact that Shedeur has not gotten a single first-team rep. Well, if he is the starter, I mean, there's no way around it. He will finally actually get the reps with the ones the entire week so that he is prepared to be the starter, that he is prepared to be thrown into some NFL action this Sunday. Stephen A. Smith had some more to add to this concept on First Take this morning. He said, Dillon Gabriel's undersized. You're going up against the Baltimore Ravens. You know one hit could take him out. This is football. You know it's entirely possible and plausible that you could see the backup who you had as a rookie as your QB2. And you give him no prep? None? Kevin Stefanski, two-time coach of the year? That's hard to comprehend. That makes no sense. You see the frustration around the league, around the analysts and experts with the fact that Shedeur did not get any reps with the ones when he was put into that football game. And yeah, I think he should have gotten some. I think he should have at least gotten one rep. That's the first time he's ever been out there with the starters. And numbers-wise, it, of course, didn't look so pretty. I think it's going to be a lot different this week. I think there's no excuse now in that regard, right? I mean, Shannon Sharpe said it was malpractice that he didn't get any reps with the ones up to this point. But now, I mean, there's absolutely, positively no way that he doesn't get the majority or all of the reps this week, which I think will be much better for Shedeur, better for his development. And, you know, obviously a few weeks of this will probably be best, but the fact that it's going to happen this week is a start. Knowing the Browns, though, watch Bailey Zappi get some reps with the ones. Watch him get called up and get a few reps with the ones, and people are going to freak out on social media. But, okay, now both backups have gotten reps, but Shedeur never did. We'll keep you posted if that's the case, because I know people are going to want to know what the practice looks like on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. But that's going to be one major change. Another thing this is going to add is there should finally be a game plan for Shedeur. The game plan is going to look completely different than it did with Flacco, than it did with Gabriel, because they're all completely different quarterbacks, right? Shedeur probably most different than the other two that we've seen. Now, it's still obviously going to be Stefanski's playbook and Tommy Rees calling those plays, but you'll get different concepts because the quarterback has a different style of play. Shannon Sharpe gives us a little bit more insight on that, saying that normally on Saturday or Sunday morning, Dillon Gabriel will tell Stefanski, these are the things that I really like. Every quarterback does that. Do you think he had any idea of the plays that Shedeur likes? If he gets to start against the Raiders, he'll get the opportunity to take all of the reps, all with the ones. And Stefanski will have an idea what he likes and will call plays accordingly. So things will be much different than his quote-unquote debut because he was thrown into that game having never played with the starters, and the game plan was not built for him that day. It was built for Dillon Gabriel. This week, something that's going to change what you'll see on the field is it'll be catered to Shedeur and what he likes to do. Personally, I really like the plays where they had Shedeur start rolling right immediately and have options to take off or throw to slant, throw a little bit further downfield. And so I think it's going to open up more to this offense with a different quarterback and a different game plan that they can script knowing Shedeur will be the starter as opposed to you didn't know you didn't know he was going to play versus the Ravens. That was not their plan. Obviously, he slid to the 5th round in the NFL draft when he's supposed to be a first-round talent. This Sunday, I think, will show if he has been ready since day one, as he says he was, or if he needs a little bit more development, maybe some more reps that he was not given, maybe some more starts to get his feet wet. But I think this would be a really good chance against a bad Raiders team for Shedeur to show that he can play in the NFL and should have been getting these opportunities. Let me know what you think, Browns fans. Predict Shedeur Sanders' stat line versus the Raiders. Get in that comment section down below. Let me know what you think. By the way, I've got my Browns Report hat on today. Shout out my boss, James, for getting some Browns Reports hats. I might give away some to the faithful on the watch party, so make sure you're subscribed and tune in to that. But get active in that comment section. Let me know what you think Shedeur is going to do on Sunday. All right, another thing that I think should not go unnoticed, should not be left unsaid. The energy, the juice, the life that it brings into the atmosphere, the stadium, the Browns players, the fans, because Shedeur is the starting quarterback, it's going to be electric. I mean, seriously, when he walked out there against the Ravens, the cheers, the life was unlike I've heard all season long for the Cleveland Browns. I'm serious. I mean, sadly, they were literally booing Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur even said, hey, that's not right. But when he walked out onto the field, the cheers were palpable. The excitement was there. And I think it might sound like a home game against the Raiders. I'm not even kidding. This is one of the draw, the box office aspect of Shedeur Sanders. I mean, there's going to be people traveling. Browns fans are going to travel. People are going to be screaming whenever he gets out there and he's in the huddle. It might give Cleveland a little bit of a home game advantage here on the road in Las Vegas. So that is another major change that we did not see the first 2 weeks of the season. Mary Kay gives us some insight on the players. Browns beat reporter says Shedeur is very, very well liked in that locker room. He brings a lot of lightness and fun and humor to the situation. His teammates really, really like him a lot. I think they're going to go out there and they're going to play very, very hard for him, and they're going to support him. Myles Garrett, our best player. Always been a big fan of Shedeur. They seem to have a lot of chemistry on the sideline, laughing, chopping it up together. And Myles said after the game, well, Shedeur wanted to pin it on himself. I wouldn't allow him to do that. It's a team game. They're supporting him. They're supporting each other. I think their chemistry is a real thing in the National Football League. And Shedeur, just because he's used to the spotlight, he loves these type of moments. And someone who's around the team all the time, Mary Kay, says that he's loved in that locker room. I think there's truth to that narrative that players will step up because of their chemistry with number 12. We've got another change to talk about here on the show, but before we do that, I want to let you guys know that this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Football is in full swing now on Sundays. All is right with the world, and I'm big into daily fantasy with Prize Picks. I'm obsessed with it. It makes all the games more entertaining. Before my Browns play, I lock in on all my players in my lineup and their player projections. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you can cash in. You can also follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app. Copy their lineups in one click, whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like. Hit the follow button. Check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. I've got a lineup, and I've got the more on Shedeur. More than half a passing touchdown. I think that's a steal. If he starts, I imagine he'll at least get one. Also going to go more than 157.5 pass yards for Shedeur Sanders. And then I threw in more than half a field goal for Michael Badgley to get a different game in there. But that's my lineup. If you want to try and make some money, you can download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. All right, so we've looked at the first 3 reasons here in Shedeur's perspective, but I've got one more, a narrative that has been going around, and that's the Browns coaching narrative. Browns fans, we've been out on Stefanski for a few weeks now. You've had Browns fans out on him for a couple years now, you could argue. And the question is, can Kevin develop a quarterback? As of lately, it's not looked like the case from our eye on the outside here. I mean, every quarterback that's played recently has put up bad numbers. Dillon Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson. You name it, there's an issue. And it's a scheme problem, it feels like, in Cleveland, a coaching issue. Stefanski's game plan, when he was calling plays, also was pretty poor. He's got a 5-22 record the last 2 seasons. Offenses have been dreadful. 15 points per game last year, that was dead last in the league. We got that up to 16 now. And he's had to give up play calling in back-to-back seasons. Partially, Weaver screaming for him to give it up. And the offense has just had no life, so hey, let's try something different. Well, he had to do it again this year with Tommy Rees. I think his leash is short. I really think that Stefanski is on the hottest seat he's ever been on this season. And he's got to go out there and show us something, that he's not the problem. A lot is riding on this. And Tommy Rees, he'll be able to prove himself as a play caller as well. You know, if Shedeur looks better, if their offense looks better this Sunday, that could give a positive sign for the coaching staff. But I think regardless, there's not a lot Stefanski can really do to save his job at this point. I mean, you need an offensive masterclass the last half of the season for me to convince me that Kevin Stefanski should be staying here. We still have the same offensive line, by the way. You know, I'm talking a lot about major changes, but there's one thing that's going to look the same, and that's going to be our offensive line that has not held up a lot this season. So I do imagine those struggles could be similar. We saw it with both quarterbacks this year. We saw it on Sunday when Shedeur got thrown in. But remember, this will be a completely different week, a new game plan, actual practice reps for him. Will the guys step up? Will the offense look improved? But I do want to know from the Browns fans, can Kevin Stefanski do anything to save his job? Or are we just out on him? It's like, I don't care. Because the only thing I could think is when Dillon Gabriel gets back, if Gabriel looks like a superstar. And we all know that's unlikely to be the case. So what say you? Type Y for yes if you think Stefanski can somehow save his job this year. Type N for no if you think he should be on the way out, no matter what Shedeur looks like this week. Because he obviously did not want to play Shedeur. That's evident. And so, like I said, I think his only path to safety is Gabriel coming back and looking great. But through 5 weeks, that was not the case. So give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. Also, go on over to X and follow me at JoeyO70. I'm going to start posting a lot more Browns content on there. You're not going to want to miss it. Interact with me on Twitter. Also, hit that subscribe button if you want daily Cleveland Browns news, quarterback news. Turn your notifications on so you are the first one to know about Browns news as well. We appreciate you all watching here. Make sure you tune in this Sunday. We'll be live for the watch party, and we'll see you guys very shortly here on the show.